I think I got a bone dislocated in my wrist.
Yo!
Man, this nigga Grimm don't love me.
What's going on, boys? You already know we're off to this demonetized start, but we back.
You can stop that though. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
you don't have to do. We haven't done anything.
What you mean? You said nigga already, bro.
I'm still laughing off of Steve-O saying I don't know if we went live when it happened, but Steve-O saying I got a dislocated wrist, and then Grimm immediately saying yo.
It's just kept cutting out. I don't know if it did for you guys.
Yeah,
it's just the calmness of I got this bed wrist.
Man, the father got me. Grimm don't love me. I was like, perfect timing. Man.
All right. Well, the delay has been plentiful. Murata has taken time not only with redraws but just extended chapter releases. So after the horrid obstacle of the delay, we're back here with Suico. Oh my! Ooh. You know what it is, boys. We're here live for the first and only live One Punch Man podcast session. Now, was that, sir? What?
Is this actually going to be the only live one?
Who knows, right? Who knows?
Like I said, wait 10, 20 years for the final chapter, and then we just go hog wild with it or something.
Now, viewers, we will be checking the chat periodically. It won't be scheduled, and it won't be like the entire stream, but we will check the chat. So if you guys want to give your opinions about what we're talking about, hop in there, and then maybe address on stream. Also, if you guys want to join the conversation in general, not just during the video in this podcast, but all the time, check out the link in the description for the Discord. It's where we talk about One Punch Man and our topics in general all day long. We also have a collection of links for the rest of the individuals in the podcast. They all have channels and they all release content on One Punch Man especially, but other subjects as well. So check those out if you want to fill your day with anime and manga material. Now, with that being said, what's going on with y'all boys?
Steve-O.
I'm doing all right, man. You know, I'm just here, and I don't know if you heard earlier, because the way you kind of brushed past it was very callous.
What happened?
I got a bone dislocated in my wrist.
Oh, your wrist. You don't need that. You be alright. You be alright, bro.
Yeah. I think I'm good too. My wrist is good. What about you, Satsuki? How are you feeling,
Are you
brother?
rubbing it in?
Nigga, we didn't ask about your wrist, bro.
listen, prayers to Steve-O. I'm just glad that we're back after how many weeks or whatever. It was funny too because I was taunting Murata because I said the new Among Us map was going to come before the chapter, and literally, I'm dead ass. Literally a day after I said that, the chapter came out. So I feel like Murata is in the chat, just like, all right, bet nigga, keep talking. I got you.
He in Discord too, bro. He all around, bro.
My wrist is fine. Thanks for asking. I think we should just go around and check on everyone's wrists at this point. I think this is the solid way to start any the one and only live podcast. Just start with us all going, hey, how's your wrist?
The one wrist man. Yeah, both of mine are fine. My back is kind of but yeah, everything else is mostly okay.
You know,
we have a guest.
I really didn't ask y'all about y'all health, like fuck y'all health, bro. Like, I'm not here for that. Like, if y'all niggas were dying, we would have asked where the reaction at.
Oh wow.
Well, we ain't asking how your wrists are, man. Keep your wrists.
They can be like zombie mans in that one chapter where they're just all bent in 10 different places.
Yo, man,
You can be second guard, man.
Zombies are getting bodied, man. What did you guys think about 142's release? And if you remember, 141. Steve?
You gonna tell me what it was?
No. No, what about 142?
Which one? 142.
The recent one.
Oh, that's the most recent one.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. I felt like it was a great turning point. I feel like the monsters are really about to come through and do that thing and show exactly what they dragons. And these niggas ain't gonna be ready for it.
So for me, 141. I thought it was okay. Kind of just fast travel for our boy Metal Bat and King. Second guard was kind of cool with his lack of a wrist in one of them. But then 142, oh man, that was awesome. And I feel like there was a bet somewhere long ago which I can't remember. Nobody quite knows the wording of, but it had something to do with Amai, and I think I don't remember it anymore. But R.I.P. Amai.
Bro, what are you referring to?
The bet.
Yeah, I don't remember the bet either.
Well, wasn't it to do with Amai Mask losing his first?
I don't know what you're talking
fight?
about.
Bro, this
I
bet
forgot.
this bet has been set so far placed that I don't even remember the details of it. I think what the bet was, and I think it's already moved past that, but we were betting on whether or not Sweet Mass, if you're ugly, how the fight would conclude. But since it's kind of been broken up, I don't know how this bet would go, because the fight, the one-on-one didn't really like conclude. I mean, they kind of continued it a little bit because Fuhrer Ugly beat the shit out of Sweet Mass, but again, Black Sperm was involved in it, so it's kind of confusing as to how it would go. But yeah, the bet was kind of if Sweet Mass turns into a monster. And initially, it was if he turns into a monster, I win a bet. If he loses the fight, I win a bet. And anything other than that, Sundown would win. But we restructured it, and I don't remember the details anymore because it's been so long.
The bet has been laid to rest.
Yeah, pretty much.
He got smacked. Like, this is... Oh, man, I even heard niggas in Discord, like, no fan should have their star treated like this. What are you doing? Like, the Amai slander is strong, but, oh, my. Mistreated. So, Sugi?
Man, listen. All right. What is chapter? First with her name is Suico, right? Suico?
Suico. Oh.
Suico, man. We gotta reevaluate our top 5 now. At least I have to. I have to like really think about my top 5. I think my top 2 are secure, and that is Fubuki and Psychos. But everybody else is up to, I mean, hey, y'all might have to get out the paint. I mean, Tatsumaki in there, Tank Top Girl is in there, and Asami was in there, I believe. But when Suico showed up, that's my Nubian queen. I don't know. She might, I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, besides that, I thought this chapter was great. I won't go into details about everything, but bruh, if you're ugly, Homeless Emperor doing their thing, Black Sperm, it seems like the monsters are finally making their move, and it just looks so devastating. But you know, I won't go too much into it, but yeah, I thought this chapter was a great comeback to a long break that we had.
Yeah, with 140, I thought the chapter was fine, but I also think it is less than what it was because of what we had before that with Blast and the big combos with the heroes. But I thought it was fine. It was just a case of getting King and Metalbat back in the fight. There were a couple of bits with, there was a little scene between between, I forgot his name, Tario and King, which I thought was pretty cool, about him basically saying spare Garou if you can. And I like Second Girl's speech a lot, actually. I thought that was pretty good. But 142 was definitely a massive improvement, because this is where Suico's great, of course, but Fuhrer Ugly, like, I'm going to say this now, in defense of Amai, he had 2 Cadres teaming up on him, but at the same time, Fuhrer Ugly is a piece of work and I love him.
Bro.
An ugly piece of work, mind you.
Yes. He's a piece of filth and he's great.
Yeah, the 140 was all right. You know, mostly all I remember is the King and Metal Bat slingshot maneuver. That was cool. And the camouflage, like, truck stuff. That was about the bulk of what really amounted to anything. Well, the Tario and Wagama stuff was nice, but eh. But yeah, the 142 or 141, whichever one Murata decides to actually choose to name it or number it, it is the Killing Games now. All of the executives or cadres, whatever you want to call them, are in full fighting form, just trying to wipe out the heroes as quickly as they can. I mean, we lost, what, 2 or 3 already at this point? So, and also, gotta love, like, Fuhrer Ugly. Like, I think it was literally every panel you saw him, his face was different. I don't know if this was Murata just, like, having fun with the character.
Hell yeah.
Or if this was just, like, something to do with, like, his own weird biology where he gets uglier.
Damn, you
Okay,
talking
now
shit,
you're
bro?
No, it's like maybe this is just his weird biology, just like as he gets like emotive, it morphs him or something. But yeah, like the show of power and everything was just awesome. This chapter was way better than the previous one. I yield the floor.
I can definitely agree that a 141 or 142, as it's been dubbed by the release, was definitely a better release than the previous one. But I do think that on a whole, as we do rereads or put the whole art together, that it will be like a kind of like a nice little, a cool piece of intermission to see the relationship between Bushy Drill and the leader. What was his name again? Tone some shit. Tongara. Between those two characters, there was a bunch of memes that came out of Tongara as he was getting developed in redraws. So the community definitely like doesn't hate him as a character. I definitely like him because of the memes, but on a like I guess chapter to chapter basis, I did feel that like it was a drag to have to like read their interaction. But now that it's completed, now that we see its effect and how one was able to tie the whole storyline together, it will definitely be a beneficial piece of the story as a whole. So I do think that 141 is a plus, but we didn't get too much movement in the plot, at least in regards to the main pieces. Like we know that Metal Bat and King are in position, as the guys mentioned, or are getting in position. So I guess the strongest thought that comes in my head is that now we have a little bit more assurance as to what's going on with Blast and Saitama. It's almost a rule in my personal head that if King is around, Saitama can also be around, at least in regards to being in the presence of the rest of the heroes to protect the secret. So this gives more credence to the fact that Saitama may be involved in defeating the next biggest issue. Just like Tatsumaki dealt with Shairochi, this may be Saitama's turn if it comes down to it. I hope that that's not the case, but the fact that King is around makes me think that. And then Metal Bat just raises the hypeness of the arc. Now the badass that we saw take on EC and Body Senior Centipede, Refocidian, and then get that thing to Garou. Now he about to come back and show off on one of these boys. Either get that rematch with Garou like we've been hoping for, like he's declared, or deal with some other niggas. Maybe it's an ugly nigga. Who knows? But just adding Metal Bat to the lineup raises the potential for hype exponentially. But like my meat got hard realizing that Metal Bat really finna play a part in this arc. This nigga muted. Like
How hard?
Whoa! All right,
There's level to it. There's level to it.
You are not at liberty to answer
I
that.
mean, the hero's name's Metal Bat for a reason. So
We don't need to know the toughness level of that.
Big hard. As for 142, instead of me rambling on about it, let's actually get into it. So start off with the cover page, I guess. Fitness is awesome. Suico. What do you first thoughts on Suico, Steve?
I expect her to have a big role, but so far I'm enjoying the way that she's been built from the minimal screen time that she's had. Knowing that she's Suryu's sister, it really gives her potential to be a great combatant. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what she might bring to the story.
Well, as for me, talking about Suiko's character first, I think she was like introducing into the story to be a person who could properly evaluate Suryu, like because we saw that like when he was talking about wanting to be a hero, she said like, oh, where you wanted to be like what did she say exactly, like an actress, or I forgot exactly what she said. He was
Model.
going to, yeah, a model, actor or a model. And those were things that you could surmise that he was bullshitting about, that he just wanted to do in a moment. So she's like that person who could remind him of his past and like reevaluate who he is now, because he's talked about being a model and an actor before, but obviously that was bullshit. He didn't want to stick to that really. But when he says like he's serious about wanting to be a hero, and you see the look on his face, and then you see how she reacts to him, you could tell that he's really serious about that. It's not just him saying that because of the moment or anything like that. So she's that character to like appraise him in a way. So I think she plays that role great. And if you want to talk about looks, I already said it before, I got to reevaluate my whole top 5 because of her. She got the goods. She got everything you want. So that's just how I see it.
And so yeah, Suiko, I think what Stebo and Satsuki have already said is pretty much what I thought. And yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as Stebo in the sense of I want to see why she's been introduced. Like, is it just to kind of solidify once again that Suryu is going to pursue the hero path? Was it also to kind of bring in her late grandfather, who I think she suggested is either dead or dying? Was it dead? I think it was dead.
Yeah. They talk about, like you said, they call him the late Suico.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's trying to introduce like more about his dojo, because they even mentioned that as well, the Void Smashing Fist or something like that. So I kind of want to understand why there was a little bit of history that she added. Are they going to go down that route? Are they going to explain more about it? Or is it just to show that they have like a really deep bond? They trained together when they were younger. She's taken over the dojo, and like Satsuki was saying, she's kind of just cementing that Suryu is actually completely serious here. And she, for the first time, probably a long while, has seen him kind of reignite the fire beneath him or within him of kind of continuing his martial arts, but this time for a purpose. So I wanted to have more of an active part in the story moving forward, not necessarily in this specific scenario, but maybe in the later arcs, rather than her just kind of looking at the TV with Suryu at Tatsumaki's huge kind of drill attack. I'm hoping she's more involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone said pretty much on point already. I think it's also to introduce like it adds a kind of a different side to Suiryu at the same time too, because we've only seen like the cocky side of Suiryu. Like, so I guess seeing him interact with a family member, it gives him a bit more vulnerability. It shows a different side to him, that he's not just this playboy. He's actually got like a sibling who he cares about. And it also introduces her as like a potential combatant as well in the future. Well, I think they show it pretty clear that she's strong, because obviously she trained with Suiryu, so that says a lot there. But also even the fact of like when she goes, oh, I'll peel you an orange, and the orange is like the size of a watermelon, and she's like pressing it open on a small, it's like, okay, she's strong. So I think like, especially what Satsuki said about how like, it's there to show how Suiryu has changed as a person, I think is very good. Then also, yeah, great design. That's it, yeah.
Curse you, Matt. I was going to mention that orange. This is the biggest fucking orange in the world. Things like the size of a basketball. But yeah, Suico, interesting introduction. I was actually told that she doesn't appear this early, so that's now 2 characters in the manga that have appeared earlier than they do in the webcomic, apparently. But that's all I was told about it. I would assume she has some fair level of combat ability, getting the same kind of training and everything that her brother has, and their grandfather seemingly like maybe an old legend of sorts. Maybe he actually trained or fought along, Bang and Bomb at one point. They're comparable in age and everything. So that could be an interesting like little backstory, especially, when Suico becomes a hero and then like Bang like sees him and is like, wait, I think I remember your grandfather, or something like that. Void Fist, all that kind of stuff. That could be cool. But yeah, that orange, crazy. But we'll have to see what kind of what she becomes in the series. I hope she gets more screen time, because we know how this series is. They focus too much on, well, there's just too many characters to really give any amount of time for. So like having another side character, because like when was the last time we got to really see like Tank Top Girl, for instance? It was in a hospital scene. Literally the same thing as this. Haven't seen her since. So hopefully she doesn't get pushed to the back, too soon anyway. But
I'd
yeah.
agree with you on that, but then I also think of like Mitsuki when she got introduced, like the fandom went crazy over her, and then she was in so many chapters after she showed up.
Yes, she's been one of the lucky ones, I have to say, and I'm all too happy, as you all are aware of that. Just another fitness girl for me to, fawn over, I guess, That's about it.
So Suico is black.
No.
No, because we used to think that Darkshine was. And
I would think that he's maybe from Thailand, because they do have a darker complexion.
But like this isn't like Darkshine, because like we're given an explanation for it. Like Darkshine is literally has the aesthetic of a bodybuilder, and they like darken their or they put on chemicals on their skin to make their skin look darker, to help in their competitions, like a tanning, like an over tanning or something like that. So like, yeah, it's not the exact same. So I'm saying like,
I highly doubt it's the same situation again.
so there are no black characters in One Punch Man, or is
No,
the
I don't think it's like completely impossible. He might be black, but I think Kishin like he does look a bit more like down the tie route, but that's not to say he's not black. To be fair,
Grimm, it depends on who you ask. If you ask a racist, they would say there's at least 2 black characters in One Punch Man.
a racist?
Yeah, if you ask a racist. Yeah, because they're going to say you probably know where I'm going with this.
I don't.
Oh,
you've got representation in the manga. Why are you complaining about it?
Yeah, you got the 2 apes in there. Why are you complaining?
what the fuck? Wow, I thought you go for like Black Sperm or something.
Yeah, but this nigga, what?
Listen, I said the racist. It's not me.
but you said it.
I don't know if Suico is black. I really don't. It's the matter of it's just like a manga thing. Or I guess you could say Japanese thing if you want to extend it to them. But there's a lot of ambiguous characters like that who are dark skinned, but they aren't necessarily black, or you just don't know. Like they don't ever identify them as such or anything like that. When Matt brought up Darkshine, I think that is important, because like all of us thought he was black. He had, not only was he dark skinned, I think he had some of the black features as well that we represent with black people, but he's just
It's a long con for the community.
I think his official name in like the translation is like Superalloy Blackluster. So I don't know how they're gonna turn that around now that it's been revealed about this.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I just don't know about Suico.
Awaken Blast and Boxing Learner both say that Suico looks Brazilian. I definitely think that like, or I would lean more towards the Asian aspect, to where like these characters or the author's Asian. He's probably like relating to that because black people aren't the only dark people in the world, so it's not like there aren't dark people in Asia. I agree with that 100%.
True.
I don't know though, but to claim that like we should reevaluate the top five because of the arrival of Suico, and all we get to see is like her stomach with them abs, sexy old tight beautiful abs, and the imprint of them things in her sweater bit. Like, come on, bro. Like, when I think it was a little tease, when she's taking off her backpack, like, yeah, I'm gonna take off my backpack like this, keep looking, type shit. But like, that's a lot to say that she's challenging like Mizuki, bro.
Yeah, but some designs just click with you, you know? So, like, Grimm, who's your top five?
Full booty.
Mm-hmm.
Asami or Psychos.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta pick one.
Doses. Or Tatsumaki.
Okay.
Or Mizuki. See, I don't even got a top five. It's really a top three.
See, yeah. I think when it comes down to like, I think everybody has Fubuki in their top five. If you don't, where are you? I just want to talk to you. Okay. But yeah, I think this character is just like a matter of preference or whatnot, because like there's characters that I could see everybody in their top fives, and I won't like debate it. I won't like be like, what, you don't have this character or anything like that. Murata has introduced a lot of women in the series that I could see in people's top five, to where you could leave Suico out of there. But as long as you have Fubuki in that top five, I ain't gonna come at you. That's all I'm gonna say. But Suico, I think she could shake up a lot of people's list.
All right. So besides the appearance, when we were like around the super fight portion, I think Garou was around the level where he was dealing with Metal Bat. And from the display that we saw from Suico, it wasn't that clear which of the two would come out on top. Obviously, Garou's the main villain. Obviously, Garou has a water stream, and she's not the water stream, but he has this awakening power, this Zenkai type aspect to where when he's near death, he can grow exponentially. So he definitely had weapons on his side, but it wasn't as if Suico hadn't presented feats that would make him a formal or a reasonable opponent for Garou at that time period. At least in my opinion, a Garou that had just finished fighting Metal Bat, maybe even the Garou that got beat by Watchdog. So now we have an individual who apparently is capable enough to assume the position that Suico should have been at. That's not to say that she's as good as Suico. There could definitely be like the whole like, oh, past generations were much stronger than this current one type shit, where Suico is much stronger than his little sister. But as you guys have mentioned, both I think Satsuki and Sundown, does her appearance like give creed to the Void Fist?
What do you mean by does it give creed to the Void Fist?
Like, we've seen a bunch of martial arts styles, and they've all literally either been like on screen be defeated by like the main art styles of the water stream or some other art style that got beat, or like they're the main ones, the water stream and the whirlwind. So I'm basically like is giving credit. I'm basically asking if the Void Fist will be or complete the big three martial art styles.
I mean, for me, I didn't really think about it as like there being a big three. I think there'll probably be a whole bunch of martial arts which are introduced. I think at the moment there are more than three in terms of ones that have been named, and yeah, you could say these are the big three in terms of the most impressive ones. But yeah, I think what's interesting is we have two users for this, and the only other one that I think we know of with out of the big three, let's say, that has more than one user is Bang's one, because I think the Whirlwind Fist, but that wasn't directly taught to Garou. He kind of just observed and picked it up, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Um,
Bomb said he has a dojo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
Okay,
made.
so they've all got three. So they've got three dojos here, and we've only got a few people who actually use it or use it effectively. Yeah, so that's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see if there are other actually capable individuals. I mean, with Bang, his dojo got cleaned up by Garou. But I'd like to see if there are other capable users within within Blast. Sorry, not Blast, Bomb, within his dojo, and within what would now be actually Suico's dojo.
I actually just went through a list of the martial artists in the One Punch verse, and there's at least 23 different styles that have been mentioned.
Could you read all the styles names out?
Oh,
Okay.
Lord, no.
Because you've got some like Void Fist.
Yeah, send me the link then.
you
I'll
know,
read.
but then you've also got ones that are like Spicy Fist. And what's the psychology guy? He's like, oh, the Mind Fist or something.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah, there
definitely
are
gotta go through
there are
that.
a whole bunch of weird ones. I think like 2-3 of them might be Saitama messing up the name of his.
Oh, them shits is super strong.
Yeah.
Nigga, we got a big five.
Yeah. Carbonated water polo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the water polo fist thing. Oh shit.
Multi-hit. The Sunflower Dojo's gentle self-defense.
Yeah, Hankichi.
Post the links so we can read them all. We can check these out. We can see which ones is big strong. Or at least which ones we can predict she might be stronger than. Because like, are you off appearance? I know. Let's finish with the other line of questioning before I know Matt and Sasuke didn't really get to elaborate about whether you think the arrival of Suico gives cred to the Void Fist.
Well, when it comes to all martial arts in One Punch Man, I think what's highlighted is the individual themselves rather than the technique. Like the technique is emphasized because of that person using the technique, but when we look at like the strongest people in One Punch Man and the techniques they use and whatever, there's not going to be a lot of people that are using the same technique that are in the upper echelon of strong characters in One Punch Man. So what I mean by that is like, how many people are we going to see in, using a water stream that we perceive to be strong individuals in One Punch Man? There's only going to be a few. And the same with the Void Fist and any other martial arts. So it's not the martial arts that is being emphasized to me. So I don't think you can say what is stronger than the other. I think to do that, you would have to have a level playing field of people who we perceive to be the same strength wise using different techniques. So I don't think we'll ever be able to see which technique is stronger than the other when looking at One Punch Man. So I don't think.
Wait, what? So if a whirlwind user fights a water stream user, are you saying that like the victor isn't stronger? Doesn't prove the style is stronger?
The reason why I say the style what is not going to be proven to be stronger than the other is because we would have to know that those individuals are the same strength wise. So like if Bane were to fight Suryu, we aren't going to surmise that his style is stronger because we understand that Bang is way stronger than Suryu. That's what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying. Like you wouldn't put a master to fight a disciple. I agree with that. You have to see.
Yeah,
they have to be somewhat similar to be two masters. But I'm saying like, all right, this is kind of assumptive. So like, as a master, in order to become the master, aren't you like technically assumed to be the strongest of that style? Like, you're not gonna put the weakest or somebody who's not as strong as the next dojo leader. Like that's even, at least from all the samurai movies I've seen, all of Vagabond, all the things that I've experienced from like martial arts in Japan. It's a very, very, very big thing that the heir of the dojo, the person who's going to take the lead next, has to be as competent, if not more competent, than the previous master. And it doesn't always happen. That's why some dojos decline. But the decline of a dojo is marked by that. If the next dojo master is weaker or inferior to the previous one, whether he's a worse teacher, whether he's worse in skill. So I would assume that like, if the master of the Void Fist were to encounter the master of the water stream, If the Master of the Void Fist isn't stronger than Master of the Water Stream, it's because he's just not stronger. And that would include with the fighting style. I got a certain
Okay.
point. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, with what you're saying, I think there's two things to that. If for instance if the story emphasized that those two characters who were fighting, who were masters of their respective techniques, were emphasized to be the same endurance wise, power wise, speed wise, things of that nature that are separate from their techniques, if that was emphasized in a fight between those two and one was to win over the other, then yes, I think you can surmise that one technique is better than the other. I think another way you could do that is if you see the character fight in a certain style and switch that style, and you see them benefiting and beat, or the caliber of the opponents they're beating because they switched that style.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think
So you're saying, yeah. Like if Garou used the whirlwind, failed, but then succeeded with the water stream.
exactly that. I think
But-
if they were to switch those styles and they were to better succeed, and it not be because of matchup or anything like that, I think if that happened, then you could surmise that one style is better than the other. Or at the very least, one style fits the other individual better than the style that they were using previously. It's a slippery slope, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors to that because, I mean, like using that example, I mean, you've got it when Garou was actually fighting Bug God and Royal Ripper, and he was using Waterfall and Rock Crush, and it wasn't doing a lot. Yet when he went and saved Tario, he used like Whirlwind Iron style, and it actually like one-shot him. And that's not necessarily because one style superior to the other. It just might be. It's like matchups are super important. Different opponents might require different styles.
I agree. Like what you guys are saying is 100% like true in principle. I'm just saying that like to an extent, the skill or the merit of the style itself also does make the fighter. Like if the fighter's training in this style and he becomes the best he can through that style, then he is the max. He is the pinnacle. He is the embodiment of that style. And if he gets beat by a different person who is also the embodiment of that style, then like there has to be like proof there. Like if the whirlwind is inferior with giving you kicking abilities, but the water stream gives you superior kicking abilities, and you prove that in a clash, then I think it's okay to say that hey, the water stream makes you kick better. And if you go through the entire line of skill sets and exchanges that each technique would give you, or each fighting style would give you, and the water stream happens to be superior than the whirlwind, I think it would be like, oh hey, the water stream gives you more benefits than the whirlwind. Maybe the water stream's stronger, and he beat the strongest whirlwind user. I don't know. Like I said, both principles are right. Like if somebody has two different styles, fails with one and succeeds with the other, it may be a matchup scenario, but it could also be that one style is stronger.
I think ultimately fights are complex, and that's what makes them so entertaining because you can't necessarily predict what's going to happen just based on styles.
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors when it comes to just experience, skill set, if you actually have more than one style, what you've fought against in the past, general physicality and everything. There's just too much to really say. You just gotta let the fights play out and see who comes out the victor sometimes.
Before we move on, let's mention, or at least, give a quick shout out to all the different fighting styles we've seen so far. So, with the Dark Hell Assassination style is Bakuzan, Bang's Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, Bazuzu's Bazuzu Explosive Fist, Benpatsu's Harsh Path style. We have Bomb's Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, Sharenko's Water Stream. Yep. Chose used the Fist of the Pure Blood Master Race. Dave used Giant Style Crushing.
Shout out to Dave. Just in the middle of all the names, you just got Dave and he just flattens his opponents.
I have been informed eventually there is web comics in this.
Then we'll just read the manga ones.
Yeah.
I think there's literally with the wiki they tend to just split up. Like there'll be a place to click on the webcomic.
All right.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. Like I can
give
see
him
it.
more.
All right. Fist fight Dijin with boxing. I guess. All right.
It's a fighting style.
Gatlin with multi-hit style. Goketsu with unnamed fighting style, I guess. All right. Hamukichi with the Sunflower Dojo's gentle self-defense. Gajuken or Jakumen with Giga Pro Wrestling. Linlin's Palm Bell Fist. Max's Hyper Karate. Mentai's Spice Fist. Orochi's Learn the Water Stream. Personification. What?
It's the guy that like hated the little
Sure, remember
string
this
on his
slide?
light, and he kept boxing at it until he monsterfied.
Okay. Man, I thought that was like webcomic.
Believe me, it's weird characters. What can I say?
Rosie with psychoanalysis of martial arts. Snake with that biting snake fist, man. What? Oh yeah, sour face. I'm like, oh nigga, somebody else learned the water stream? Oh yeah. Sour face with the water stream and the sour face style kempo. Suiryu, Suico, and Suico with the void fist. Volten with the thunder fist and the super thunder fist. And Zakos with the head first rushing style. It's cool to see the different martial arts that we've compiled so far in the story. But let's keep it pushing though, because Suiryu really just reassured us that yes, he does have ambitions to enter a storyline as a hero, and he's gonna play a big part after this arc. So we already know the rivalry is gonna be going on there. We don't know, at least in my personal opinion, we don't know how strong Sweet is, but if Suiryu hops into the fray, we got a competition between Amai, Metal Bat. I don't even know if Pig God's competition, but he probably is competition. He definitely be around in that category right there, in my opinion. So let's break into the chapter. The shield is down. So like to take a step back, right? A quick step into the immersion. Look at it like that. Look at it as if you were actually in the scenario and involved. The huge barrier that was erected by Tatsumaki, the strongest hero besides Blast, is now dissipating. What's going through your head? Steve-O?
What was the question?
The barrier's going down. What is your thoughts if you're there?
See, I forgot the importance of the barriers. What was the barriers doing?
It was keeping the main villain from getting the fuck out.
Hey, Carson.
And Tatsumaki was the one who made the barrier, right?
Yes.
Oh, damn. I mean, I don't see what the importance of that. I mean, because niggas is about to fight anyway, so ain't nobody trying to run. So,
Psychos was trying to run.
well, they beat Psychos, didn't they?
No, she's still technically alive.
Didn't
but
they?
The main bulk of Orochi was killed, though.
Was it?
It's what got drilled. God damn it, we saw it.
Did
She
we?
popped- Because you guys corrected me.
Mm-hmm. Nobody believe
I'm
Orochi.
pretty
did.
sure they're gonna do that thing regardless. I don't think the barrier really matters. Did they make a fuss about the barrier in the chapter? I don't remember.
Nah,
Yeah, that it has like a double repulsion. Like you can't get in, you can't get out of it, and it causes damage.
but I personally made a big deal about it for the very reason that he's saying. I don't want to see your opinions about it.
Okay, so you just bringing it up because you think it's going to be a thing. I don't think it's going to be a thing personally. I think that the barrier going down is just something that they noticed. Like it's just Murata, like pointing out that Tatsumaki had that. Just keeping like her abilities consistent, I guess.
I agree with that, but like, go ahead, Sando.
All right, so with the barrier coming down, I feel like that's kind of an indication that Tatsumaki's. I mean, it's a huge barrier anyway, so maybe she's not completely run dry, but by the looks of her this chapter, she seems to almost be completely out of it. So maybe this was kind of an indicator that she's going to be stepping away from a lot of the Cadre fights, which, to be fair, I think I'd be okay and happy with, because if she was even 50% power, she'd probably be body bagging a lot of the cadres, and the fights would just go too quickly. So I'm kind of happy with that if that's what the shield is indicating. And I think you guys mentioned this. I kind of cut out a little bit, but isn't what's her face Psychos actually still alive? Because she separated from Orochi before he got nuked. Yeah. So if Psychos can, I assume she can sense and see the barrier, being an Esper. If she can see that, this would be the prime time to just get the hell out of shot and escape, survive, and fight another day. And if there are other monsters who are possibly thinking the same thing, that would be the best way to go. Just run away. But I don't think it makes a difference to any of the heroes. They're going to be staying there no matter what.
Okay, Grimm, will you talk about like the barrier being down? Are you saying how we perceive it, or the characters in the series perceive it?
Well, how you would perceive it, because I think, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say how I perceive it is I'm along the lines of Sundown's thinking, in that to me it's kind of like damage control, and I know people don't like that term, but it's in a good way. It's to ensure people don't take it wrong when Tatsumaki isn't aiding other heroes in their fights with the cadres and whatnot, because we're gearing up to our heroes fighting the cadres. So for that to happen, you have to explain why Tatsumaki isn't demolishing them in one shot, because with the power she's shown thus far, she's capable of beating a lot of these cadres and whatnot. But you have to show that she has a chink in her armor and that she is not at her full capabilities. So the barrier has been put down to show that Tatsumaki is vulnerable and that she's not 100%. So the cadres will be able to operate without her interference. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think the guys are right on that, but also on a small thing, it's starting to clear the fodder out of the way for the main fight. So as we see the helicopters coming down, we see that they're coming down to collect Moomin Rider, Lightning Max. They're all on their way, so they can get out of the way, because with the level that these fights should be at, with the S-Class heroes going against the cadres, it prevents us from going, wait, where are they in this situation? It's a good way to get the other support characters out of there without necessarily us thinking, oh god, what's going on?
Yeah, I didn't really think too much about it, other than, maybe she's just kind of winded at this point. I mean, she might still have some more gas in the tank, and, might just be on the rear guard of sort of thing. Like if the cadres feel like they're losing and then they try to escape, she, bubbles them or something. But otherwise she just lets the others handle them, unless she has to step in, because she's definitely had more focus and whatnot than any of the other characters during this arc. So it's yeah, I think she can take a break if she needs to. Plus, the girl was basically crucified at one point. She needs a little medical aid, Otherwise she's going to bleed out before she can do anything. Also, isn't it kind of cool, the whole thing with the fiery look to her psychic powers on her hand? I don't think we've seen her do that before. So I don't know if that's supposed to represent something or not.
She looks cool in general. That whole Jesus depiction where she's just shining in the background, that looks cool in general. I'm also not sure if that's supposed to mean something, but she's definitely been getting really, really favorable, really cool designs. I don't mean to bring the whole social justice thing into it, but she definitely doesn't fit any of those stereotypes. This is an exceptionally well-written character, female character, feminine character, that's incredibly powerful, potent, and strong, with amazing personality. We almost know Tatsumaki. We know her as she's very, very well written. So I like her depiction right now. I like how she's currently being displayed. But in regards to the shield coming down, I do now give more credence to the second reasoning that Tsuki was mentioning. and Sundown that like this is really a strong indicator that she's gonna be out for the count. Especially with how she's grabbing her shirt and panting that hard. I definitely agree with that. I was more so along the lines thinking of this could indicate an escape for Garou. It's kind of like a mid-story cliffhanger, like, oh, you thought everything was done, so you did this, and then that resulted in this type stuff. I think that's what's going to be the case, but this is definitely the best excuse as to why Tatsumaki won't like body Fuhrer Ugly. I agree with that.
I'm sorry, but Tatsumaki is bad. Damn, man.
Did you guys relate to Bang's comment about the growth of the heroes? Maybe even comparing it. Well, I get in my head there was a few points of comparison. It could be from the first hero meeting where we saw them like just bickering and not getting along with each other till the most recent moments where they managed to like have a whole strategy together and help bring down Jirochi, or is the comparison or is the statement that they've been growing, is it flawed? Does it not have enough support?
I'll say with Bang said, he's a pretty old dude. He's been there since they first introduced the S class being a thought. So with him saying like how they were so selfish and he's surprised that they've been working together and whatnot. I think it was that line was delivered by him because it's the most credible, just given his age and his experience and the things he's been seeing throughout his life. I think he is the eldest of the S class heroes. So I think just given that, that line delivered by him is you could take that and take that to the bank. But what I got from that comment, it's not exactly from that comment, but with what's going on in the story, it's going to lead to a lot of the heroes collaborating and working together and fighting the monsters and whatnot. And even though things kind of look hopeless with what Homeless Emperor did and Black Sperm and Fuhrer Ugly, I think that like the heroes working together is actually going to be a strong point in how they handle things, because it doesn't seem like the monsters at least are connected and on the same page on certain things. So this is going in more to what happened later in the chapter, but I think this is a sign that the heroes are going to have a huge advantage over the monsters in the long term. Just based on the fact that now they're in a space where they are, working together and, helping each other out.
I actually took it in a different way. Is that he's seeing young people that, up until that point hadn't really worked together. They were always on the same side, but they didn't collaborate in this way. I think he's like viewing it as when he was young and how he probably was like a lone wolf, other than when he fought with, Bomb by his side. So I'm thinking that it's like, they've grown indeed. Even Tatsumaki. It's a different generation indeed, kind of deal. At least that's how I kind of took it.
Yeah, I can kind of see it, but like that. From Bang's perspective, I think it's kind of being that kind of teacher, dojo sensei kind of vibe. He's super proud of the growth that they've gone through, and what I liked was kind of what Satsuki was alluding to, how there's this almost juxtaposition between what we have is the heroes beginning to cooperate, and at the end of the chapter we get the monsters saying, all right, let's compete against each other for the title of the Monster King.
Yes.
So like Satsuki was saying, it's like we're starting to see the collaboration, the new generation of heroes, not from a kind of an age perspective. Like there's not new heroes coming about. It's just that there's a new generation of thinking and philosophy with the heroes, that they're going to work together. They're going to help each other out where they can. Whereas the monsters are kind of already plotting their own downfall by competing against each other. And like we saw with Homeless, they're almost ready to even stab each other in the back to get the title that they're looking for. So I like that kind of contradictory, or not even contradictory, that kind of opposing elements.
It's actually really good storytelling, because if you guys remember previously, Child Emperor approached Zombie Man saying that, hey, I've made horrid mistakes here. I shouldn't be in charge here. You take it. You take the leadership. You take charge. 1 second. Okay, my bad. Sorry about that. All right. So like, I forgot the point I was talking about. What the fuck was I saying?
Talking about Child Emperor talking to Zombie Man.
That's right. Yeah, the whole yeah. So I get we had like little instances and little seeds to where like the teamwork thing could have had some breaks in it. Like that was definitely at least a thread that could have unraveled the entire shirt. Like having the labeled mistrust of Genos and Bang, which for all intents and purposes, Bang is indeed a traitor. He did it one time. I don't care what nobody wants to claim. Bang kicked Garou in the face to save him from Genos. He did what he was accused of and he was labeled as. We just haven't seen it done in front of everybody else's eyes. Genos being unawares of the scenario. But
that does make him a traitor.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we still have that thread that could unravel the whole storyline of like trust and teamwork and all that stuff right there. But I agree, that's the principal, I guess, plot line that we're looking at here. The fact that the heroes are improving. I like the way that Sundown put it. A new generation of thinking. We're not removing and adding new heroes that are going to change it up, but the manner in which we're going to go about their hero work is going to change and produce different results. In contrast to the monsters who are competing for this title, and we're going to get to that because that's a huge plot point that I really like. But that's 100% it. That's if there's going to be a reason why we could predict confidently that the monsters would lose, it would be because they're competing against each other, well, in contrast to the heroes working with each other. 100%.
It's that stuff you love, Grimm. You love the friendship and teamwork working together to save the day. I know how much you like that stuff. And people respecting each other.
Everybody but Atomic, but you don't need a team though. Atomic finna handle it by himself, nigga.
That he brought up about Flashy. It's like, where the fuck's Flashy? Was he still down there? Like, yeah.
So like, I guess keeping it pushing. I didn't really give that much credence to the whole like mentioning of Flashy Flash. Not because of hate or anything. It's just that like it didn't really seem relevant. It was just like seemed like banter in between. But it was important enough to have Tatsumaki mention it, and it was connected with the whole Blast part. So was this little sequence here to talk about or to show us the relationship between Tatsumaki and Blast? Does Blast have a part to play in the immediate future? What are your thoughts about this sequence here?
With Blast, like it's kind of weird. If he plays I can't even really it you know, because I read the webcomic, so I mean I can't really yeah.
Okie dokie. So then I will take it from here. So yeah, I mean, I like so Tatsumaki can sense that he was able to warp a kind of space and time. And I was a little bit confused by that because I was like, okay, I get that she's an Esper, but does that mean that his abilities are kind of Esper-ish? They're kind of in that same vein? Because if she can sense it, is that just because of the level that she's at? Or would people like Psychos and Fubuki have had some element of sensing it as well? Was it just something that they didn't recognize because they've not been around Blast before? So like, because Fubuki doesn't seem to be any the wiser that Blast was actually somewhere down there. The only one that seems to know is Tatsumaki. And I wonder if that's just because she's been in close proximity to him before. She's aware of his powers and she knows what it feels like. Or is it once again down that line of being an Esper? But just before that, I actually liked the fact that Bang, he was very on guard, and he was ready if Garou was going to pop out again. And his face when it's just like flashes down, he's like, "Oh shit, for real? That guy dead." But yeah, so I just kind of like that. But yeah, I want to understand more about why Tatsumaki was so aware of Blast. Surely she shouldn't have noticed that he was there.
Dog, first thing I want to say is don't drink, kids. My head has been spinning the entire podcast. I feel like I've been on a roller coaster and I'm sitting in my chair, not doing shit, just listening in. And it feels like I've just been sinking down and down. Yo, don't drink, y'all. All right.
You hold the table?
Dog, I don't know where I'm at. Yeah, I don't know where I'm at. But I'm just gonna say, as to what Grimm was saying, I think it's two things to that. I think both are correct. I think in the sense that it's just the heroes accounting for everybody that has been there, because Flashy Flash was here in the initial assault against the Monster Hero Association. So it's just them, going like, "Yo, hey, where's that one nigga that we were with? Like, what happened to him?" So it's like them just accounting for the people that they had with them in the beginning, and they're just thinking like, "Yo, what happened to him?" And it's also like what you said, Grimm, bringing in the whole relationship of Tatsumaki and Blast. I think that was being honed on as well. And even though this isn't exactly what you're talking about with the question that you pose, I think actually I won't even bring that up yet. I will not bring that up yet. I'll pass the baton.
Yeah, I think I don't really have a lot more to add to this. I think what you guys said, this is just downtime. They've got a moment to breathe, so they're like, okay, recuperate. What's going on with everyone? They know everyone else is there. But I think on a smaller, it shows that she at least recognizes blasts in the area. I think more to show that maybe she knows more about what's going on with the Hero Association, because only few people know about what's going on with Blast. We know Sitch does, we know obviously Blast, and then so it could show as well that Tatsumaki's got more knowledge about Blast. Obviously, she's got the past of him, but she at least understands like his abilities. So maybe like so she's at least kept in somewhat of regular contact with Blast is what I took away from that. But I'm fine with that because it kind of like you can see on her face. Well, I know she's tired, but like she's looking different when she's thinking of Blast, and it's just a small thing. Just like obviously that's the guy who saved her. So it'd be interesting to see what it'd be like when those two fully get to meet up and talk again because of how she's with everyone else. How it would be when she finally meets Blast again.
Yeah, the whole like worry about flashing and stuff was a nice addition. Like as a reader, you don't always think about every character's like point of view and stuff. Like we know that Flashy's okay, but like they don't, so they're like freaking out. But yeah, her reaction and everything, and like knowing that it was Blast, like we don't like when it comes to telepathy in this series, like it seems like mostly it's just with other psychics that they ever communicate with. Like it's not like Charles Xavier where he can just talk to anybody and they can talk to him because he can pick up on their thoughts. It doesn't seem that way. So I'm not exactly sure how she's like sensing like the whole like dimensional travel stuff. That's kind of weird. Even if she's aware of it, which I mean in the flashback we weren't too privy to that information. If she knew he like warped into that facility and then warped her out, I mean, given how things went, he could have easily have just freaking blown a hole through a wall or something. And it's like, you're free. It's like, it's a jungle. You're free. But yeah. So I'm not quite sure. There needs to be a little more explanation to the telepathy that we've gotten towards the tail end of this arc, because like it's not been as heavy, before then. And also, she even questions if it was blast or not. So that furthers like how can she even sense that particular ability? But you know, that's just me.
All right, so let's keep it pushing to the good part, to the startup, the moment the viewers are here for. Let's begin. So, previously, we got the arrival of Homeless Emperor. We saw him go off on a Amai Mask, Child Emperor, and Zombie Man, and we see the result in front of us. This chapter brought a lot. Well, hold on. Maybe we should just take it step by step. All right, so let's start with the dialogue then. So is this a confirmation that Garou and Orochi are dead?
They think so.
Yeah, I mean, Gero in the sense of that meat suit and what he perceives as the fusion between Gero and Orochi. I think he thinks that. I'm not sure if he saw the escape that Suico's made. So I think from his perspective, they're both dead. I think Orochi at the very least is kind of more or less dead, unless once again that flesh sample from who was it that collected it? Drive Knight? Yeah, unless that comes back to life or something. But yeah, I think he's more or less correct.
But how does he know? Like, are these his powers?
I wouldn't. I mean, he has powers from like Mother Earth and all that. Could Vaccine Man do anything like that? I don't remember. He didn't last long.
I think he's kind of making a bold assumption on an attack of that size must have been used on a really powerful monster. That really powerful monster must have been Gero with or the Sairochi fusion. So he's kind of just assuming that they wouldn't be able to survive an attack like that.
You sure, bro? Because that phrasing, like, it seems Garou and Orochi got done in, like, and this is after the fact.
I mean, to me, it's like he's looking around. He's like, he can see that the heroes are all there still, but Orochi isn't there, and Garou is not there, so he can probably make the assumption, okay, if the leaders aren't here, and all the heroes are still standing here, then at this point, they've got to be gone.
Somebody mentioned when the chapter released that it may have something to do with his power and the fact that like they were fused, like the fact that like they got imbued by God, that somehow Homeless was able to like hone in on that or like sense that.
I mean, it could be, but he also says like the heavens ally only with the chosen, those such as I. But if it's like the same being that gives him that, then why would he say that? If
it's almost as if it seems like he doesn't know that they were also given the power of God.
Also, he doesn't even know who Suicos is because he refers to them as Gero. So that's the only form he's ever known. So, like, if he saw her escape, he wouldn't even know that was the same person.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I didn't even think about that.
Be like, sexy naked girl just jumped out of Orochi's body. Who the fuck was that? And then it's like, looks human enough, and just blows her up.
So,
just before we start talking about that, because I know you really want to start talking about that, because I've noticed it just now. How good does Homeless look in that top panel with Amai? Like I went past that entirely because of I went that entirely because I've read that and then immediately, Black Sperm got my attention. But Homeless looks sick in there.
That's a badass silhouette right there, bro.
That's a great silhouette of Homeless.
And you see like the whiskers of his beard and shit too from this. Oh my god!
Like I've never read Vagabond, but that looks like Vagabond style.
100%. Like the brush type, bro. It sells it, dog. He sells it. But
this chapter really brings up the fact of how the hell does that crown stay on his head? Is it just tangled in his hair?
It's like the Burger King crown, just solid.
It's not even the Burger King crown. It's like I bet it's a broken fucking bottle.
Oh, I hope it is. That'd be incredible. That is,
It's a broken bottle embedded in
broken bottle is an amazing touch if it was.
Oh, maybe that's actually why he has like this kind of weird dual personality where he's like normal 1 minute and then he's psychotic the next. It's that like when he was trying out his powers for the first time, he shot a bottle and then it lodged in his head and he's like, I'm the homeless emperor now. Get my crown.
My guy can like stop a bullet from hitting himself with the bottle. It flew so fast, lodged itself straight into his skull.
Like I said, it was like his first attempts of using his powers, you know. Explosive balls of energy are, you know, can be tricky.
So back to the greatness and the hype. Amai Mask.
Oh yes.
There are many words, many feelings that come to mind whenever I say Amai Mask. And a lot of those words and feelings have changed.
Gay.
In regards to this chapter. So let's do this exercise. There are 6 of us here. Let's each use just 3 words to describe Amai Mask as a whole, as a character. No. Just Amai Mask this chapter. 3 words. Let's go down the line. Starting with Steve-O. Just 3 words that describe Amai Mask to you.
Gay. Homo. Sex.
What?
Okay.
Perfect.
Unfortunate and hopeless.
3 words,
Bit.
bruh.
He said unfortunate and hopeless. That's 3 words.
Cut.
Well, and doesn't count as a word.
Hell no.
Oh, you want 3 adjectives. You want 3 descriptions.
Mhm.
Okay, unfortunate, hopeless, and just a side note, he got mighty fine eyeliner, man.
Oh, you gay.
Hey! I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing, but that's some sick eyeliner. But what would be the 3rd word? Just unlucky, I suppose.
And there goes the homo sex.
we keeping it primal, bitch.
Oh,
Nigga.
That's 2 words, man.
Yeah, you got to know.
Oh wait, we're bitch ass together. Bitch ass nigga.
Matter of fact, that's a phrase, bro. What the fuck?
So that count as 1?
Nah, yeah, that counts as 1.
Damn. Shit, I don't know where to go from that bitch ass nigga. Fuck him.
it's also a phrase.
All right, there you go.
Face caving punch.
Oh, too soon, man.
Come
Our
on, bro.
Bowery.
3 adjectives, bro. Come on.
Okay, sorry. Oops, boo, ora. There you go.
Hold on.
Let's see here. We got
Oh, he did say that, didn't he? Oh, shit, I forgot about that. My boy with the JoJo. Yeah.
Oh, my
did
God.
say aura. Oh,
Hold on.
Oh, that's stupid, man. Oh my God. Why am I about to do that?
JoJo Part 9, let's go.
Fuhrer Ugly, that bitch. Wait, there's a part 8?
Yeah, Part 8 at the moment. We're on Part 8.
What happened to the animated part 6 then?
Because things
Because
happen
they some
in Part
hoes,
6,
man.
And I can't talk about Part 6. Things happen in Part 6.
when it gets weird.
Part 6 is after Golden Wind, right?
That's
Yes.
when it gets weird. JoJo's part 6.
I'm saying, boy, it gets weird in episode 2 of part 1.
Part 7
Jolene.
is crazy.
Jolene.
Steve-O gets it. Steve-O gets Jolene.
Jolene.
Oh man.
Nigga, you mean Lisa? Ooh.
Oh nigga, don't take me back.
Oh.
All right, man.
That bathwater. Ooh.
I'm sorry, what?
Put that thing in a smoothie.
Use that bit of moisturize my
Juicy.
skin.
I swear, you could put like the conversations Steve-O and Grimm have, and you could just place like the conversations the monster have with their like text. And there. Like these 2 at the moment, they're Fuhrer Ugly and Black Sperm. Especially that face back Sperm's pulling. Like, that's the thing.
Grimm is Fuhrer Ugly, just to be clear.
Whoa!
Like the roles, that's
I'm
okay.
definitely Black Sperm.
Wow.
Nigga, I'm Black Sperm. Nigga, I produce way more than you.
What? Nigga, you know how many times I beat my meat today, bitch? Stop, bro. I got a
Y'all
whole
have a
thing.
sperm off or what?
I told you things were going to get wild.
All right, let's keep it pushing.
But I thought you were Dominican.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What? We got a lot of sperm.
No,
All right,
Keishan, what are your 3 words?
yeah.
you're fake, asshole, and maybe dead. I doubt it.
Nah.
Nah, he can't be.
Minor LOL got clapped. And oh damn!
Grim, that was 7 words.
Hey, whoa.
That was laugh out loud, got clapped. I can't remember the other one.
I mean, I added an extra one.
I'll allow it with you, Keishan, it's fine.
No. I was just trying to like emphasize it, and I wasn't sure if I could be like dead. You know, if that would have been good enough.
All right,
But no,
so Amai Mask. So first off, Black Sperm. I guess Black Sperm's interest would probably be like the primary part of that. But any comments on the speed of Black Sperm catching Amai? Like, did you guys have a higher speed opinion of Amai Mask, or like, does this increase your speed opinion of Black Sperm? Like, I know, at least in Discord, a lot of people are talking about like switching up the matchups or whatever. Like, does this show you that Amai Mask would get mollywopped by Black Sperm? Like, what is? How do you feel about this? Black Sperm's arrival.
I think, to be fair, like I didn't really think about it from the perspective of being surprised that he was actually caught. But now I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, actually, yeah, maybe he should have been fast enough to for it to be difficult for Black Sperm to catch him in the first place.
Well, he caught him off guard.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he did just pop up out of nowhere, and there's no way Amai really would have been able to sense him.
It's like Eon, huh?
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, so I'm not too butthurt that he was caught. I mean, that he was caught off guard. But I suppose if he can keep up with his speed like that, I'm not sure if this is telling us that, because Homeless didn't even move. He didn't seem phased by it at all. It looked like he was just waiting for the punch to come and was going to like zap his arm off or something like that. So I'm wondering is this trying to show us that maybe Amai in this state wouldn't have been enough, and then that's why we're going to get, like, I'm hoping some sort of Amai rebirth or something like that, where
we might.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm hoping we get more of that. Otherwise, this is just going to be a really sad ending.
I think almost certainly Amai's going to come back. Without
Yeah.
I know he's coming back, but I got a theory for how he's coming back.
Without a face, man.
I literally have multiple theories of how he's coming back.
I think everyone's got a theory how he's coming back, because I don't think many people think he's actually dead.
Well, let's get to when he died before we talk about our theories of how he's coming back.
Same to Bean.
Fuhrer Ugly was terrifying this chapter.
Love.
Keisha mentioned it earlier that the different varieties of faces that we saw in almost every single panel depiction were terrifying and tremendous. I legitimately can say that, like, these faces are indeed frightening. He is one of the more frightening monsters we've seen, if not the most frightening monster we've seen in the series. And I'm talking about on a serious, like, actual scary level. This is technically the first time we're getting to see him, because the last time was a tease with Amai Mask pushing out. But what are your overall introductory thoughts on Fuhrer Ugly?
Hey, you guys.
That's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up.
Well, first of all, that nigga ugly as hell. That goes without saying.
Well, it's in his name, so I would hope so.
Second of all, I think he got like older size increase because I don't remember this nigga being that big. I could be tripping though. And going back to the black sperm thing, when you said how we feel about him hopping out the ground like that, well, for one, I think you harping on that just because you like sperm, and two,
You gay.
I thought
You gay.
I thought that was a really nice way to showcase like dragon speed and how these niggas really be ferocious and overbearing like that. Niggas can't really do nothing with them. So Sperm coming out there and grabbing that nigga with 16 hands and 4 different faces, that was clean as hell. Then you got Homeless Emperor standing there like he ain't doing nothing. I ain't gotta do nothing. These niggas. And then Fuhrer Ugly come through real ugly, like boo, scaring niggas like, hey, like this them niggas. They really some dragons out here doing dragon things. And I hate that Fuhrer Ugly had to do that thing doing my mask like that, man. Split a nigga in half, but I don't think that nigga gone. But then again, if he is, that'd be cool. Shit, blast here, so anything can happen.
Oh man, yeah. So Fuhrer Ugly, I think I agree with Stevo. His presentation in this chapter is just absolutely terrifying, and
Ugly as hell.
he ugly as hell, and his size. I agree with you. Was he that big underground? I mean, compared to Amai,
I'm gonna try and look it up.
because I feel he wasn't like I thought he was obviously larger than Amai, but I didn't. And in this, it looks like his head is basically Amai's full torso, maybe even below his waist slightly, which makes him huge. So I was a little bit shocked by that. But his facial expressions, his aggressiveness, and his kind of extreme violence thing, his whole philosophy, and then coupling that up with how he looks, he was terrifying this chapter. And I thought it was because I felt like Fuhrer Ugly was just really. We got to see so little of him before that he wasn't really something or someone that I'd invested in too much. But just this chapter and what little we got of him was amazing and like completely changed my view of him. I think he's such a good character, such an awesome and violent natured thing that I can't wait to see what more he can do, because this isn't even like, so far as we can tell, his full power at the moment. So he's just terrifying.
When the Grimm talks about like the speed thing that comes from black sperm being able to catch Amai Mask mid attack when he's trying to go after was it Homeless in this? Because I'm not looking at the stream.
Amai was trying to speed blitz Homeless. Yeah.
Okay. When he was trying to go after Homeless. These are one of the instances, and people may disagree, where I don't really put credibility in like the speed feats or anything like that, because I think it's more so because what I try to do is I always try to take it to account the author's intention, and I think the author's intention in this instance was not to specify the speed, but to specify like the surprise of these monsters coming back when they did. Not to say that you can't take that moment and say that this is an indication of that character's speed. It's just that I always try to use what I think the author is going for in that instance, and I think the author just wanted to show you like, oh shit, the monsters are all back here and now, like they're all going to resurface now. So that's what I took from that moment. But when we talk about Fuhrer Ugly and how terrifying he looked in this chapter, I think everybody is of the same belief. Somebody in my server posed the question, who do you think is the most terrifying monsters? They didn't specify whether it was the Cadres or monsters in general. But when talk about the Cadres, I think Fuhrer Ugly is definitely the most terrifying monster. Because if you ask the question, which monster would you want not to catch you lacking at night? It's Fuhrer Ugly. I don't want that nigga near me.
Well, it's probably because he looked like a rapist.
Bro, I don't know what he gonna do to me.
It really doesn't help that he's the most human of the Cadres.
Yeah.
Besides Homeless.
But Homeless has like an energy attack and everything. So like you can kind of start to see him diverge from the human thing, aspect, but Ugly is this.
I would still argue, even with the energy, maybe Homeless is still more human.
Yeah,
Fuhrer
100%.
Damn.
No, no.
Look at this nigga's
I think
mouth.
where Keishan is getting at is the fact that okay, like Homeless has these energy balls that he'll probably throw at you and attack with you.
There's no special
With-
ability.
With Fuhrer Ugly, this nigga, all he does is use his fist and other things. He may think of his dick as a weapon, and I don't want that. Stay away from me.
He about to use a booty crushing thrust.
Bro, stay away from me if you Fuhrer Ugly. Please go. Nah. Like, as much as I roast Amai Mask, I feel him, at least on the case of like just Fuhrer Ugly attacking you. Because like, bro, if I want to die, if I could choose a monster I could die to, Fuhrer Ugly is at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't want that nigga killing me.
Yeah, he gonna hit you with that big father.
The big father.
I call it the big Fuhrer.
Damn, man, this shit was like
It was nasty.
the effect is the fact that like you see how hard this is literally like this is why I have cred in regards when I make the comments about Darkshine's attacks being lacking. This is the perfect example to present it. This is great comparison aesthetics. They're both punching. It's a physical attack. When Darkshine does like the big ass bazooka shit, nothing. There's nothing exterior. It's just white or we don't see the results of it. Even the people who he's punching, sure, it's because of the fight. Sure, there's reasons to justify some of those things, but the results, the depiction of the attacks, are unsatisfactory. But with Fuhrer, like this is what you would expect when Darkshine punches, bro. Like to leave niggas like this or to obliterate them completely, bro. Like, but we don't see it. Like this is the type of gruesomeness, and this is why. This is obviously a characteristic of this character in particular. This is what Murat is using to depict this character. Fuhrer Ugly is so violent and so ferocious that these are the results of his fights. And I get that. I 100% get that. I just wish we got that for other characters too, because that would not only make the story more realistic, but it'd be more impactful. Like, look at the effect. The entire community was out there like with flowers and candles, like out there like, oh, pray for Amai, hope for Amai. Niggas that slander this nigga on the regular, bro. We have, bro, in my Discord, we have an entire channel for atomic memes. Just slandering Atomic Samurai. The only other hero that we have that for is Amai Mask. Niggas hate the nigga so much and they were still willing to be like, oh my god, Amai. Somebody help him. Oh no.
Probably because he got ripped in half.
Put in a tough spot. You know.
We haven't seen Darkshine rip anybody in half, so
like case in point, like the depiction is what's making Fuhrer so like. Let me just let Matt go. Go ahead, bro.
So I think Fuhrer might be my favorite card right now. Like he is like he's brutal beyond belief. Like what I compare him, like when I think of monsters that compare to him, like Royal Ripper's the closest in the sense of like Royal Ripper like to capture and like torture like their victims. Fuhrer doesn't hesitate. He's like, I'm about to cave your face in, and he does it. He's like, you're ugly, those legs are disgusting, let me help you out, tears you in half, and he's laughing while he does it. Like there's monsters who are in the series that are like they've all got different motivations, like other Cadres, like you got Homeless, who's like, oh, I want to, like, you know, benefit humanity by getting rid of humans. Like, Goketsu, who's like, you know, survival of the strongest. Fuhrer Ugly's just like a pure villain. He's just there to like cause chaos, and he's gleeful about it. Like that face, like what an ugly face. He's happy at what he's done. You know, he's come with some of the most brutal hits in the series, and he has no problem with it. Like, I liked him when he came originally, when he kicked up and he split his trousers. This time, he split his trousers and then he split Amai's.
For earlier, motherfucker.
Oh shit, bro! Look, you can see Amai's meat, bro. That's his balls right there, bro. That's his balls. What? Yeah, this is balls, bro. Those are the two tubes connected to both of his balls. And that's his meat right there. Oh shit, that's Amai's little meat.
No, that's his freaking intestines.
Nah, that's his meat, bitch. Right here is meat. Oh shit, bro! Like this was. Oh my!
He's
Kishin.
just brutal. I mean, even like with Child Emperor, right? He's got like no remorse. He's like, I'm about to kill you, kid. Like he's like, and obviously like they're monsters, so they should. I mean, they're like it's all out free for all. Like he's brutal, and like I think it's gonna be so fun watching this guy fight because he's just gonna be savage in whatever he does.
Kishin.
But yeah, the whole like from when he appears out of the ground, just boo, almost looks like he's about to eat him. To be honest, maybe eat off the dick that you said that you seen earlier. But I don't know. Now but yeah, that face caving punch, like, damn, that has to be one of the most brutal attacks we've seen in the series. Beyond of just like evaporating someone, but like being able to see it, and just hit the gleeful laughs, as it's already been mentioned. It's like, this dude's laughing at what he caused. I mean, I guess if he was doing it like, oh, hey, homeless emperor, you remember when you did to that guy? Oh, that was awesome. It's like, well, look what I just did to this guy. It was better. Kind of deal. And it's like, and then splitting him in half, or starting to split him in half. It's like, yeah, it's like the faces he makes, he looks like he's one of the enemies from Little Nightmares. If any of you have ever played those games. It's like, I love it and just disgusted by it all at the same time.
Shout out to 6.
And what was the name of the guy? The baghead?
I haven't played the recent one. One.
No, then I won't spoil anything. But yeah. And then the whole like Child Emperor's just dragging Zombie Man. It's like, come on, I gotta get you out of here. Gotta get you out of here. Oh, the killing games have begun. And that's about all I have to say for right now.
But yeah, this has got to be a case of, with how brutally Amai has been so and so killed at the moment, he's got to come back. I mean, like, there's no way. If this was actually how Amai's storyline and the story finished, that would be like an epic way to go out. And I'd be really shocked if Murata and One were just like, yeah, this is how it's going to happen. So I think from that perspective, and I think Matt was mentioning this earlier as well, Amai can't die like this. This has to be kind of a way for Murata to tell us, yeah, he's going to come back in some way, shape, or form, because a brutal murder like this wouldn't occur.
So, all right, I guess it is the time to bring it up then. My personal theory for how Amai would or wouldn't come back, or will come back, involves Phoenix Man. Now, there's some speculation between whether the resurrection of the two ninjas to the degree that they regain their consciousness was because of the electric shock. And we know Phoenix Man can bring back anybody, but they do his bidding. So, we could potentially, in my opinion, see a arrival of Phoenix Man to the battlefield, and once the situation becomes perilous enough for the heroes to have gained the upper hand, I believe Phoenix Man will revive multiple monsters for a second round. And in that instance, Amai Mask, who is currently dead, will be revived on the monster side. We may get to see some ferocity or some truth behind who really is Amai Mask. And then in that resultant, we get Amai Mask switch sides again. But I think that's how Amai Mask will actually come back. Or we get to figure out what kind of ugly, nasty monster tech type thing he really is. And that's how he comes back. What about you guys?
I'm still going with like my Mudman, or like Clayface kind of deal that I said like all that time ago when he was fighting Does. and like how he just kind of reformed his face. Like, and this would be like the perfect time to bring back when he was like talking all that smack against Zombie Man. Like he comes back and Zombie Man sees him and it's like, huh, I guess I'm not the only monster-like person on this team after all, am I? You know. And it's like, and that could be like an interesting conversation that we have for the heroes, because like, do we accept the ones who we don't fully understand their origins? Like, and what is the line between hero and monster for some of their own allies? But yeah, I think he's just going to reform himself. That'd be about it.
All right, so
Yeah.
good.
No, I was just gonna say I don't really have any intricate theories. I think he's just gonna kind of show what I assume is his monster side or monster-ish side, and he's gonna kind of regenerate through that.
Yeah, I agree with Sundown. To me, it's like a classic anime thing of like, it's like we've entered like a realm of the impossible, because like no one really dies in One Punch Man. No, like at one point that was the thing when Jet Nice Guy died, but then he ended up coming back. So the fact that someone's apparently died, we're in like a realm where like in our heads as readers, right, the impossible can happen now because people have started to die, like from Amai. So this is where things can start becoming more visible. So, like, for example, like where we're in a realm where like we can start accepting things that will happen. So with whatever happens with Amai when he comes back, we're going to accept it as readers. And to me, it seems like the classic anime trope of like, oh, the hero has a dark side to him. So I'm thinking like in Bleach, I'd each go with like his hollow side, or like Naruto with the Nine Tails. Like, I think he'll show up at one random point, but he will be like a raging monster at that point. Like he's not going to be like in control of it. I think he's going to come back and he's just going to start being brutal against whoever he goes up against. Might be Fuhrer Ugly, which would be pretty interesting if like his attacks suddenly had no effect on him because obviously he's not scared of him. Or it could be against someone else. It could even be against a hero for all we know. But yeah.
It might even be the case where Blast stops him.
That would be cool.
I think that would be. That would
I
actually
have a
be.
question.
Good.
Sorry, Grimm, but why is it that people believe that he is living? His intestines are hanging from an opening
See, this is
in his midsection.
The man's literally been stabbed in the eye and it healed.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Who did that happen to?
Does, like when Does like stabbed him with
Stabbed
like a
who?
tongue or something. Amai Mask.
Oh, okay.
no, but
So that was going to be my next question. Have we seen him display some sort of healing factor? So if that's the case, then okay, I understand.
Yeah, he just
No, but
covered his face and then removed it, and it was back to normal.
yeah, that like I said, like that's why I think. Here's why I think what you're saying has credit, Steve, because what Matt mentioned may be true, but it involves breaking the fourth wall. Like, I want to find reasons in the story in particular, not like context clues as a reader to like give reasoning for something. Like what he said is 100% true. Like that's what I thought as a reader. Like, oh, he's a main character. One Punch Man doesn't really kill that many heroes or people, so he may not be dead. But like in context of the story, which is how I want to go with it, like I don't agree that like he has regeneration off the depiction that they mentioned, and like this thing got split in half. Like it's not like, how do I put this? I don't think that the example of him being stabbed in the eye and then magically having it fixed in the next panel is enough evidence to say that he can regenerate from this. It does give you the doubt for it. I agree if that's the reasoning, if that's like is the actual purpose, that like because that happened, now there's doubt for this peculiar event. Fine, but this event shouldn't be peculiar for just staying in this actual storyline. Like, we know that heroes don't usually die, but we know why heroes don't usually die. It's because they're strong enough to win. It doesn't mean that a hero can't die. If we were to assume that, like, most heroes aren't going to die, then it would remove from the story. So, like, to a certain degree, we have to still have the suspense, what is the, suspend the belief or whatever, that, like, he's dead. Or, like, have, how do I phrase this right? We can't break the fourth wall. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't break the fourth wall, then I think you can still say confidently that Amai Mask is dead. Which is why I think that the Phoenix Man theory has cred. In story, Phoenix Man can revive people that needs to happen before. And it's indiscriminate. It's whoever's in the area. So, like, go ahead.
Just quickly, Grimm, because I see where you go with that, but when he could do that, he couldn't do that in. I know you got to think about the redraws, but like in the redraws, he wasn't shown to have that ability
To revive? Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, that was once he reached a dragon level. You know, at this point, Phoenix Man is now below Wolf, so it's not like he's not like, as far as I doubt like a below Wolf level threat could have the ability to revive someone, unless like something happens to him and like out of nowhere Phoenix Man suddenly jumps back up to his dragon form and revives people.
Oh no, I was definitely under the impression that he would have a whole storyline. Like, when I said Phoenix Man return, I mean like he's gonna return just like the rest of the Cadres have. He's gonna be involved in the storyline, and then whatever happens, he'll reach a point to where he can do that. I wasn't like saying that like yeah. It's not like a red herring to just bring back a mind. No, it's like this character is gonna come back and be a big problem, big threat, and then because he's a big ass threat, Amai Mask happens to come back, and he's kind of like the I don't want to say he'd be a trump card because this is literally all out of my ass right now, but like I was saying, the hero's getting the upper hand in the fight for momentarily, and the monsters are on the back foot, and that kind of leads like a whole cliffhanger, like, oh, the heroes are about to win the fight, but then Phoenix Man comes back in and changes the entire odds again. So now we're back at the bottom of the climax, the bottom of the rising action, and it's a whole new development. Maybe even another roundup of matchups. Maybe even mix them up a little bit. So now the heroes are fighting even different heroes back to a point to where like they have a disadvantage again. Maybe Atomic Samurai's fighting Black Sperm again. Whatever it is, I'm just saying that like I think if Phoenix Man returns, it'll be story based, and Amai Mask might get his resurrection from that point. Because other than that, I don't see a reason outside of breaking the fourth wall as to why he would just resurrect completely. Maybe, like I said, I do think there's reasonable doubt to say something's going on with Amai, but like we just saw his meat, bro. We saw his balls out there. Like we saw his meat and shit too, but like his balls was hanging out. But you want me to scroll back up to where his balls were, Matt?
Look, I saw his intestines. You saw what you saw. Okay? Whatever you see in that silhouette is like your ink spot test there, mate.
His balls, bro.
But what I see is his insides going out. I don't see that.
Yes, he does.
Well,
Right.
you already talked about the whole Doa situation, but I think another thing you can add as a compliment to that was his interaction with Zombie Man before this raid happened. And this is something we all talked about, like given his hatred from monsters, it seemed like it came out of place that you could at least make the theory that maybe he is a monster himself, because it seemed like he was talking from a place of personal experience in some instances, because he was just so adamant about killing monsters and whatnot. So I think like his interaction with Zombie Man 2 has to be taken into account, because he could have the same type of ability to where he can resurrect himself from fatal injury. So
Satsuki, I want to take that a little step further. Crazy theory while I was listening to all you guys. Okay, with the interaction the two had before the raid, and just their interactions in general later on, and what we now know about Amai and whatnot, about seemingly a healing ability that's, like you mentioned, kind of similar to Zombie Man, just we don't know the full scope of it yet. Well, we know that Zombie Man was created by Dr. Genus at the House of Evolution. What if Amai is a prototype of that experiment, and he's resentful because he's imperfect? And like his rate of regeneration is a little bit different, or it's just a different like kind of regeneration. And that's why he has like this like kind of animosity towards, a fellow monster-like human. that's amongst the ranks of the heroes.
I can definitely agree and accept that that's part of the thing. Like that's definitely part of my opinion of Amai Mask. That there's something peculiar about the individual. He fixed his face in a very peculiar method. I 100% agree. Like 100%, you got it. He could definitely be a monster. His dialogue with Zombie Man was definitely indicating towards something. We brought that up several times in the podcast before. I definitely think that's like leading towards the overall mystery of Amai Mask's peculiarity. I'm just not sure how peculiar it is. Like, I don't know, man.
I think I brought this up many podcasts ago, but have we ever seen like, so we've seen humans monsterify into monsters, and we've seen people like Zombie Man who are kind of like artificial monster-ish humans, but have we ever seen like a natural hybrid? So what if Amai was like his father or his mother actually reproduced with a monster?
Yeah, you have brought that up, but I don't think we have.
You think Amai's mom got raped, or Amai's dad was out there raping women?
No. Sometimes you just
dudes can get raped too.
I was going to say, why are you assuming it's that way?
I'm bad.
Yeah.
So you think a
insane.
male Ugmon deposited sperm inside of Amai Mask's dad, and he got pregnant that way? Is that what you're saying?
Why they gotta be an Ugmon?
No,
hey,
but
look,
Okay.
explain his.
You think a random monster scissored Amai's mom, and she got pregnant from that?
Listen. I've seen people. I've heard people on this podcast said they would fuck certain monsters.
What's wrong with those ass, bro? You can't tell me that tongue ain't gonna be that thing.
Okay, there, and that's how Amai Mask was created. Sometimes you got feelings for the monster.
Nah, bro, but like,
I don't know. Like, you got to come. Well, to be fair, you got to come with Tachi, who was kind of in love with. I forgot the name of the monster. The
Double
hair
long hair?
one, the demon.
yeah, no longer.
Yeah.
And they have been very humanoid looking monsters, like Homeless Emperor being the prime example.
Remember the cheetah looking monster that was guarding the prison? That was guarding Waganma?
Yeah, she was pretty humanoid as well. Yeah.
Listen,
That's furry stuff, that is, mate.
I don't want my experience with that character. I tried to. All right, confession time.
Oh my god!
No.
Think about this.
No. It's not as bad as you think it is. And
This is live,
right?
my brother.
Was she like this?
No. What? No. What I was gonna say was I was on a certain site looking for One Punch Man hentai,
Whoa.
and then that character kept popping up, and I was getting pissed off because I was like, I don't want to see this, bro. I can't. Eventually, I got to a point where I had to blacklist that character because she kept popping up. They kept having hentai of that specific furry character. I was just mad.
The One Punch Man one?
Yeah, I was like, where the Fubuki, where the Psychos, where all that shit at?
There's so many girls, but just this one.
There's the lightning one too recently, the one that was at the Fishes in Love with.
Mycoplasma.
Yeah.
Tycho.
So, my question is, this is the other thing I'll ask Satsuki. What is your bottom 5?
Oh my god, does Murata have like 5 female characters that are just ugly?
Both the ninja, the clown and the ninja girl.
Okay, whoa. The ninja girl is
You
disappointing.
dirty.
She
You
isn't
dirty.
ugly though.
You dirty.
She's disappointing.
Dirty. You disappoint me. You disappoint me by saying that. What is this? What is this?
Listen. I'm not saying I would breed with her, but I could see other people doing the same. I could see other people, doing it.
So you wouldn't hit it, but you can see Sundown hitting it.
I'm not saying Sundown, but I'm saying somebody else. I can see that. She isn't like hideous. Like, oh, come on, man.
Bro.
What's more hurtful, being called disappointing or being called ugly?
You just
if someone came to me and was like,
I can tell you they both hurt.
Listen, okay.
If someone came to me and was like, Sundown, you disappointing, I'd be like, oh shit.
It's in this. We're talking in the vein of Murata's artwork and whatnot. All right. So like, if you're disappointing when I put it in context that I'm thinking of Murata's female characters, it's it's like falling from a cloud.
Okay, yeah. So you're speaking relativistically, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bro. We gotta do a video like that. The bottom 5 girls.
I don't even know who I would even list, so I might have to skip that.
All right. One thing we can't skip though is one of the highlights of this chapter. So, as we saw before, as a matter of fact, I made a video upon this before, and I'm happy to say that nobody really took credit to it. So, Black Sperm and Phoenix Man made references to the Monster King. Garou also made a mention of this whenever she was talking to Garou, letting him know that the individual who's leading the pinnacle, Orochi, is antique version of what he could be. He could be superior. He could be everything that she wanted him to be. But Phoenix Man had the same capabilities, but hidden. His ambitions were literally mentioned and described as becoming the next Monster King. Even in the redrawn iteration, he mentioned that he would endeavor to resurrect multiple dead heroes and raise his own army, his own monster association of his own. So of these 2 characters, or 3 characters that were involved, or excuse me, I forgot to mention Black Sperm, who vocally gave a contest or debated with Orochi and Garou as to who was the leader and whose actions were justified here. And it was declared that after the whole debacle, after the destruction of the heroes, that they could have a fight to determine who would be the leader of the association. This wasn't seen as a huge storyline, it was more so seen as character dialogue, showing us what these characters were about, what was going on in their heads, and more of their design, giving us more of their character. But now we see that it's an actual plot point, a plot point that may actually affect the result of this battle and the result of this arc. So we're adding 2 individuals to this count: Homeless Emperor and Fuhrer Ugly. The candidates for Monster King are now as follows: Black Sperm, Phoenix Man, Garou, Fuhrer Ugly, and Homeless Emperor. What are your opinions on these 5 Monster King candidates? Do you even consider them all Monster King candidates? And what's the result of this fight? What are your thoughts?
Steve-O.
What?
Said anything in a while.
No, I ain't repeating all that, bro. Go ahead, Suzuki.
Well, I'll just say, when it comes to everybody vying for the position of Monster King, I don't. It's so difficult. I don't think anybody is near Orochi's level when they say that, and that may be a controversial thing. We haven't seen the full capabilities of these monsters yet, I don't think, because I think that is going to be tested when they get into these full-fledged fights with these heroes. So maybe I could be proved wrong on that front, but like I can't see Fuhrer Ugly getting to that point just from what we've seen so far, because I do think if Amai Mask was in a position to where the Ugmon ugly factor wasn't a thing in a fight, I do think that he could believe that or he could win that fight. This is what I believe. Black Sperm is one that has always caught my attention, not only because of what he's shown in the series. He's shown to be in the upper echelon of the Cadres, in my opinion, but just because of how the community perceives him as well. I think that's a factor that we can't ignore. People, when you bring up Black Sperm, they're always kind of what's the word that I'm trying to think of? There always seems to be more to Black Sperm that people aren't telling you, and you get that feeling just as a manga only person. So maybe he could reach that level. I'm not sure, but Homeless Emperor too. He's someone who's very powerful. One of my favorite cadres as well. But I don't think anybody is really on the level that I could say that they could be Monster King, just because of I haven't seen everything that they're capable of in terms of their power and their stature. And I also think something you also have to take into account is how Garou perceives them, because she's the one that is really assigning these roles and positions to everybody. So it's just like how she sees them. And from what we've seen in this chapter, even the own monsters within their association aren't knowledgeable about the full capabilities of everyone else. You've seen Black Sperm going like, yo, homeless could do this? Like, what? So it's kind of like, it's just, I don't know. It's a matter of like what we know as readers and what the monsters know as well. And I'm not sure of both.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to go off like the information we've been given, I'd probably give it to, like, I wouldn't put Phoenix Man or Fuhrer Ugly in that running, because just from what we know, like Garou has said about, like, if there was an issue, then if Homeless Emperor and Black Sperm were to team up, they could take down anyone. So that's the indicator of their strength. And of course, what she said to Garou was like, "I can make you the better Orochi." So to me, if Monster King was a title they were all fighting for, then it's between those three. But even then, it's like what Satsuki said. There's still things that we don't know about these characters because, like I said, Black Sperm was shocked at what he could see Homeless Emperor do. But even at the end of that, he was still like, "Oh no, but I'm still gonna win." You know, there's more to these characters that we still haven't seen.
Yeah, go on what's already been said about, like, we're still getting to see what they're capable of at this point. Like, the fights we've saw to this moment is, some of them really just weren't that, like, enlightening, let's say. Like, Gums, the man eats a bunch of stuff. It's like, oh, well, that's something. Homeless Emperor, he made like little explosion balls, but now we find out that he's actually been holding back this whole time, which is interesting. I actually kind of wonder if like what we saw in this chapter is actually just like a medium-sized attack for him. Like he went full spirit bomb with it. But and also with the line that he said to Fuhrer Ugly, it's like, "Get out of the way." So it's like that indicates that of the people of the cadres that are like vying for the title of Monster King, he might actually be able to take out at least Fuhrer Ugly. And possibly, given what I guess at this moment it's not canon anymore, but the focused atomic slash taking out the duplicates of Black Sperm, like maybe Homeless could eradicate them as well, but that's yet to be seen. But you guys did bring up like that Black Sperm didn't even know that he could do that, so it was like maybe that's them kind of being like, he could do that, that's kind of cool, and they're thinking, ah, shit, he could kill us, motherfucker. Yeah, he'd been holding back, But yeah, some of the others, like Fuhrer Ugly, I don't really see it too much unless he pulls out something really big. But like Homeless Emperor, Black Sperm, and I'd even give it to Phoenix Man if he comes back in like his brilliant eagle form or something.
Ooh!
Where he can revive the dead and everything. Why the weird effects?
Cause my boy finna come back and do that thing to niggas.
Quit being Michael Jackson for me.
My nigga finna body niggas in the regular, man.
Grimm, it's not canon
Like
anymore.
Fuhrer Ugly definitely gonna
Was that funny, Matt?
Grimm,
Well,
if he comes back, you know what he's going to be? He's going to be his Emperor Penguin, and he's going to slap people about.
Oh, Emperor Penguin got to be his strongest form, though, right?
It is. I mean, did you see what he did to Brave Giant? I won't forget it.
I still want him to come back as a
I
dinosaur.
still haven't read that chapter, by the way.
Pterosaur or
Good.
something.
Don't.
Mate, no, it's great. He throws an
Don't.
iceberg at Brave Giant. I'm not even joking about that.
Keep the old Phoenix Man in your memories, in your hearts forever.
That's all it's ever gonna be.
Hey, the fact that these ideas were even thought up in like being retconned doesn't always mean that they can't come back in the future.
Agreed.
Especially the focused atomic slash. Like
Facts, yeah, that's coming up.
I mean,
That's true, but I'm still gonna laugh about it.
It's gonna come back. Matter of fact, it never went nowhere in my mind.
Exactly, man. He got two. He got two now. They gonna get it
he
again.
hasn't decided to use it yet.
I haven't read them redraws. Never will.
Yeah, redraws. What's that?
Never heard of them.
But yeah, I'd say Homeless is probably my top pick for Monster King at the moment. And then it'd probably be Black Sperm. And then if, Phoenix Man decided to come back.
Sundown?
Yes, I think in the case of Garou, I don't particularly think he'd want the title of Monster King. I just don't think that's his character and that's the way he'd go about it. Phoenix Man, with the redraws, I'm not sure if that's within his capability.
Don't think of it as like a throne. Think of it as like a title you're given. Like you achieve this much now.
Oh yeah. So yeah. Okay, so if it's by pure kind of just straight, earning the title, I think it's going to be between the three of them. So Garou, because of his potential to grow, Black Sperm, because like Satsuki said, this general aura of like mystery around him. Everyone, whenever you mention him, the whole kind of usually people are so excited to tell you so much more about a character. With him, everyone always goes quiet and they decide, no, you just wait for him. So I'm not sure what it is about Black Sperm, but there's something to him.
So you going off spoilers, man?
I still want to know if he's a weird ass like sex ed teacher that just went crazy.
Bro, we already got the origins of Black Sperm, remember? Sasuke used to beat his meat so much and put all the cum on his one doll.
No, what if he broke into a sperm bank and it's like, I'm taking all of it?
No, Grimm, you're forgetting that's been redrawn now. That's not the canon.
That's canon. Sasuke was in there beating.
Listen, man, the origins of these monsters, man, I'm glad they've been discontinued. I can't take it anymore.
They haven't been, but we could do it for Fuhrer.
No.
I was actually going to do for all the Cadres and even some other monsters that we just didn't really get to know. I was going to do weird backstories that kind of made sense, but then were just for fun.
Cool, get Grimm on that video. I'll tell you what, he's got some ideas.
No, we got ideas right now, right here.
Monetized, if that's the case. No, he had to be 10 feet away.
Fuhrer was eating radioactive ass and then it farted in his face.
We making up origins for the Cadres?
Yeah, what's up? What's your
Yo,
origin story?
hold on.
So that energy ball, that hole shot out, right, guys? That big one?
No, listen to that. Hey, Steve.
I'm gonna give my origin story for Rover real quick.
You know what the origin story for Black Sperm is?
Oh, nigga, we already know. We're gonna say that for last. Say that one for last.
All right, go ahead with Rover.
Black Sperm, Rover. Okay, so the way Rover came to be, right? There was once upon a time this dog, and there was a nigga. Right?
I know where this is going.
Was he black or white?
And of course, it was a black nigga. And the nigga, he raped the dog.
What?
I knew that's where this was going.
Yo, this is worse than Black Sperm story.
Keep going, Steve-O.
Isn't there a story about that already?
Yeah.
No. I've never seen the story in my life that ever follows that. So let's get back in. Okay, so the dog, right, in its last moments, gives birth to another dog. And this dog is what we've come to know and love as Overgrown Rover. And the reason why Overgrown Rover has such a tendency for obedience and dog-like behavior is because his father was never there.
You've been reading way too much Greek mythology.
What?
Wait, wouldn't it be the inverse of that? Like that?
Nigga, this is dog nigga, bro.
No. But because his father wasn't there to instill individuality in the laws of man, to teach him what it's like to navigate in situations where other people are being manipulative, you know. So he didn't have his father to show him the instincts and teach him how to take that open lane, you know. So that's why we have overgrown Rover in the state that he is in currently. Now,
Why doesn't he have any human features? Shut up. Moving on.
I don't even know, honestly. I didn't get that far.
But yeah, I think
Fuhrer
you
Ugly.
said like that explosion was awesome. It just like cleaved through the ground and everything. Everyone's like, "Fuck! What the hell was that?"
All right. Let's keep it pushing. All right.
We're not gonna get the rest of these origins out.
One day.
I was really looking forward to Black Sperm. I was really looking forward to that.
Well, go ahead. Give us your origin story for Black Sperm.
Great. Just save this for your Monstrous Anomaly series. Just Suico, like, have an hour.
it'll be real
to do
anomalous.
No.
Cadres
This is
special.
going to be quick. Because contrary to popular belief, it's actually very simple.
It's sex addict, wasn't it?
No. Well, technically, but no. All right, so Silicon Valley, right? There's a guy by the name of Mr. Marcus. And he was responsible for many unwanted pregnancies. One day, he actually managed to, eject before he ejaculated. And this ejaculation landed on the ground, got real upset, said, "Hey man, what about us?"
No.
And Mr. Marcus just so happens to be a black man.
It's always a black.
Thus, we have Black Sperm.
What the fuck, bro? So Black Sperm is just nut that didn't get shot in?
Right.
But how did it gain a mind?
No more questions.
Okay, fine.
That's the monstrification, man. What you mean?
No, we out of here, bro. No, stop.
Okay, explosion, go.
All right.
Heroes separated.
So Child Emperor, right? So as we mentioned before, like the badass like appearances, faces of Fuhrer Ugly are everything here. But Child Emperor got put in a pretty precarious situation. Now, we could say he's dead, and especially as a result of this overpowered attack from Homeless Emperor. Well, let's focus on Homeless first. He said he was holding back. Is this like a depiction of like when he's not like, how to put this? He said he wasn't holding back. So does that mean that now he's using more than what he was doing before? Or is this like his maximum power right here?
I don't think this would be his maximum power because it still seems incredibly casual. I think this is just him doing more than what he was capable of in that situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Like, is it still casual or is this like full power release now? Like, what do you Suki and the boys? What y'all think?
Yeah. I'm of the same belief as Steve-O. Just doing more than what he showed when we were underground. Well, I'll leave what else I was going to say for later.
Yeah, I think I'm of the same mindset. I think he's just kind of he's flexing a bit more, but it's nowhere near his max power output.
Yeah, same as what the other guys saying.
It seems like a mid-level attack for him at most. Because even if you add up like all of the orbs that he's ever like produced at one time during the Zombie Man fight and everything, I don't even think it would have come close to what we're seeing right now. So yeah, I think he can go bigger.
We've made comparisons to Vaccine Man. Is this the proof of that? Are we gonna see him spam these as we heard before from Black Sperm, there doesn't seem to be like energy usage involved when he makes these attacks. Zombie Man called it magic. Are we supposed to expect the spamming of orbs this big and this destructive? Or are we going to see back to the regular size orbs that we saw before of Homeless?
It might be. I mean, he might not be able to spam them because obviously we had that bit of time off. It might need like even just like a couple seconds to charge it up. Where if he's up against a faster opponent, then he might not necessarily have the time to do it. So I doubt spamming because I can't really think unless like you're someone like Darkshine. I can't really think of many heroes who could actually do something against that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he could spam attacks like that, then pretty much any S-class hero besides maybe Darkshine. Maybe if Atomic could cut through the attacks, if that was a thing, maybe he'd be okay. But maybe the only other person would be like Blast or Saitama. Obviously those two. But yeah, it's super interesting how Black Sperm made mention that he's not actually using any of his energy, and I'd like to understand because Black Sperm is obviously scheming right from the get go. He's trying to understand, okay, where's this guy getting his energy from? And I think one of the things that might be a kind of plot point moving forward is how can he possibly cut off that power supply and stab him in the back. But that might be something which other heroes pick up on and try to kind of try to cut off his power supply as well.
It's funny that you say he's scheming, and what you used as the reference was him observing his techniques. I would have said that the scheming came from the fact that like they all mentioned that like they're all going to be competing, and Homeless Emperor's declaration of using the law of nature. So with Black Sperm being like, okay, we'll do that, and it's not going to turn out how you think. That's what I thought the scheming would be. But you're saying that him even observing was the beginning of the machinations. I saw that more so as like these guys aren't necessarily friends, but they're not enemies. So you may observe things from other people, like just commenting on other people's power. It was more ominous because he's a monster, but I didn't necessarily see it as like an indication of future betrayal or anticipation of future like a readiness or something like that. But that is something to look out for, I guess. That would be a good indication of that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason why I thought that was because I think it was before this page that Fuhrer Ugly kind of proclaims, yeah, let's fight for the title of Monster King. I think he says it just in the page, yeah, somewhere around there. So the one who gets the most S-class kills gets to achieve Monster King title. And I think from that point it was kind of like Black Sperm agrees almost straight away. Homeless Emperor doesn't really say anything, but I think it was kind of unanimous agreement or agreement. Is that even what? Yeah, I think they all pretty much agreed that that's how they'd go about it. So I think from that point onwards, Black Sperm was pretty much in the mindset of I need to know how to defeat these guys, and he was shook because I think what he's seeing from Fuhrer Ugly at the moment is kind of what he expects, but what he saw from Homeless Emperor was like, yo, damn, that's not something I thought he'd be capable of, and I've never heard of anything like this. So I think that's why I thought from that moment on he was just kind of looking at him like, okay, how do I cut off his power supply? And the way that that's not the face of someone who's like amazed by his comrade's ability. That's the face of someone who's thinking, how do I stop this guy?
I definitely think that he has a potential for more. I don't know if like this attack would be something that he does normally, like the vaccine type thing, solely because we've seen the potency of his previous attacks, how regular they are. So this is such a huge upscale that I would think no, but as we saw with Sairochi, there is no real limit to how much your power can grow and if you can spam or not. She was capable of spamming Earth Cutters. So it wouldn't be crazily unreasonable to believe that Homeless could not only vary the size of his orbs, but he can make orbs at any size and spam that size as well. Just as easy as a smaller one. That would be incredible control. Did Child Emperor escape on his own will? Get helped out? Or was he killed?
That's a big question.
He's not dead. I'm sticking with that. He's not dead. Because to me, like, I know.
Real quick. Does also answer like if the explosion that was made, if that reminds you of anything and doesn't make you suspicious.
Well, I know what you're going for with that because it looks very suspiciously like the frame that Blast had. So, I mean, it does, but I think he's got multiple things to get him out of this. So, look, to me, as long as Charles got that backpack on, he's got an excuse to get out of almost anything. I'm not saying he did it on this, but like they can pull whatever they want. Zombie Man disappeared as well, so he could do something there. But of course, there is also the opportunity that whether Blast drops Saitama and Flash, it could have been like right there, and the moment they get there, they just get blasted back like all the distance that attack did.
Yeah, they're just being pushed back because Saitama's just like a shield.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if Child Emperor managed to protect himself, I'd be kind of annoyed because just the way he was this chapter. I mean, having seen Zombie Man in that state, I don't think he's ever really seen Zombie Man get abused so much. He looked like he was in shock, and I understand he's fought against monsters. He kind of should be seasoned to sites like this, but seeing someone he respects being basically massacred, and then also seeing, we assume, he saw how Amai Mask just got ripped in two. I really would be surprised if Child Emperor wasn't in like a state of shock and he was able to use something to help himself out. I'm of the mindset that he was helped some way, maybe like Matt was saying, where maybe Saitama and Blast popped up right in front of him. Maybe it was something else, but I do believe he was helped out.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the camp that there was outside assistance, unless the backpack has like some kind of like you are in a state of shock, like automated like teleport or defense systems activated. There's like no other way. I would think he was just, his guard was down. He was like deer in the headlights, literally, because it's nothing but lights coming at him at this point.
Yeah, actually, in that sense, then you make a good point. I wouldn't be too annoyed if it was like a failsafe from his backpack. Like Matt was saying, anything that pops up from that backpack is kind of, anything could happen. So if it was like a failsafe where like, oh, you've stopped moving, or your cognitive abilities dropped, we're just gonna like teleport you ASAP out of there. Then I'd be like, oh shit, like damn, they have it. But then I'd be annoyed that there was like a teleport function or something like that. But I suppose it could be anything.
I went with like something else,
Yeah, it could be any example. Yeah.
So can Atomic Samurai cut water?
I would hope so. Otherwise, they're kind of fucked.
Yeah, I think I think Atomic's gonna be fine. Like, he had a bad matchup against Black Sperm. I think a lot of these guys, though, Atomic's pretty good against.
Maybe this is when the focused Atomic Slash comes back and he starts evaporating him.
I mean, he cut energy before, so I can't see why he can't cut water.
I mean, the only downside is if it's like a superheated attack and everything and it's evaporating, he could just reabsorb the water then. So, I mean, that's the one downside to it. But then again, we don't know what the hell the whole water cutting technique is really supposed to be capable of. Like, what is that even going to do? Was it just cut him up into pieces and then he's like, oh, well, there's moisture over here. I'm just going to reabsorb it. What are you doing to him?
Yeah, I think my perception of this is a little bit different because, like, I'm not sure how you'd go about, like, obviously it's manga. I'm not sure how it would turn out, but cutting water just sounds a bit weird. Like, I'm not sure how he'd go about doing that. Maybe it'd be like a different gimmick. But if anybody was going to be capable of actually cutting water, yeah, it's got to be Atomic, right?
Fair enough.
I mean, he's done something similar in the past where, like, not water, but, like, I remember when he was fighting against G5, he cut a dust cloud. And then like the way he cut that dust cloud is like when like air hits dust, it obviously just like it doesn't go like in a split line. Like he literally like cut the dust cloud in half.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like the wave. It wasn't like a wave of air or anything. It was literally a slice. So
That
I
could've
think
been
he can cut this.
advanced, like
Yeah.
air slash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I
I
mean,
mean-
he would have taught it to Komo Itachi, so like obviously he would have more experience with it.
Mhm.
But sorry to interrupt.
All right. Gums is a giant, and his incredible metabolism, I guess, is what's keeping him a certain size. It looks like his digestive system is incredible. So, is this dangerous because if you get in his belly, you'll be digested fast? Because I don't really see a purpose in like him losing size like this.
I think it's a mobility issue. Like, I don't think his stubby little legs could carry that fat son of a bitch body right then. He's like Kirby. Anything that goes in, it ain't coming back out. But also, we've never seen him use the bathroom, so like he must be like super efficient with everything he eats. Or he has a void dimension in there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, was it a redraw where did he not completely eat Pig God?
He did.
Did he completely eat him? Okay, because I thought it was just in his mouth and he didn't completely swallow him.
No, he did, but he had to fight his way back out. But that might have been pre-redraws or something. I don't know. Like we talked about before, sometimes it's hard to keep up with the actual canon anymore.
Yeah. Because in my mind he never swallowed him, but I can't remember. I can't be sure. But if he had swallowed him and Pig God's still here, then that would suggest that he's not capable of digesting at least Pig God that quickly. But maybe it might be something where he's more powerful above ground, just like how the rest of them are suddenly flexing their muscles a little bit. Maybe he's a little bit more serious now as well, but it could be anything really.
I love how he came up as like a bear trap, but then makes you question, how the fuck did he know they were there? Like, there's a lot of shit going on, so it's not like he sensed vibrations.
Maybe he can just smell them.
I mean, maybe. There ain't no nose on that.
I mean, also just to add to like his digestion sundown, it might be because before like that was all rocks, so like he might be able to just like be able to quickly do that because there's no resistance to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas obviously Pig God's like, I'm not letting you eat me, and he's struggling. So, well, no, he might have to like fully swallow them, and for all we know, like he wasn't getting fully swallowed.
Yeah, that could be the case.
Yeah, who's to say where the mouth and the stomach begin in this guy?
So we've previously already addressed the implications of this Monster King game, how in contrast to their competition, the heroes are working together, and now we get the emphasis of the law of nature, in which Homeless Emperor is saying that there are no rules here, and whoever survives survives. So assuming that we know the exact implication of that, what are your thoughts, guys? Who's your favorite character of this chapter? Who made the chapter for you?
I mean, I'd be surprised if the rest of y'all didn't agree with Fuhrer Ugly.
Yep, I agree. From faces to his brutality, it really made the chapter.
Matt Sundown?
That was me.
Oh, my bad. Matt Sasuke. Matt Sasuke. No.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry, I get confused all the time as well. Like, aren't they?
The names are right there, you know.
But
So
with an S, you know, that. Yeah.
We haven't done these podcasts for like more than 2 years, you know.
I mean, I said like when we talk about Fury, he's like my favorite Cadre. So yeah, definitely Fuhrer.
100%. All right. I don't know, man. The poses that Homeless gets, man. Shit, bro. But Fuhrer definitely he took the chapter from me. I agree.
It's like it's weird. It made me laugh because like there's a bit where Homeless Emperor's talking about like, oh, you shouldn't have to worry about looking good, and he's looking like really good throughout like this whole chapter. What was the bit? He literally says it, and I'm like, Homeless, you look just like you're posing there. Like, what was it? He's talking to Fuhrer. I'll try and find it.
He's like, that looks painful. That's what being
That's
obsessed.
it's actually like he's like, that's what it means to follow the beautiful law of nature of this planet, survival of the fittest. And like he's basically saying like, oh, it doesn't matter how you look, mate. It's just about surviving. And yeah, he's just like posing like, you look alright there, Homeless. Like, don't say that while you're posing.
Yeah, and he's got the clean Head and Shoulders hair and everything.
Oh yeah.
This dude been using the shampoo, man.
It's
All
the
right.
one luxury he allows.
So I always said before, this chapter was really, really hype. The introduction of the Cadres interfering, tag teaming, using different tactics, seeing the heroes prepare to deal with this great threat, and all the implications that are leading to it. In the previous chapter with Metal Bat and King arriving, or whether it's the confirmation, quote unquote, of Orochi and Garou being gone. There were a bunch of different plot lines that were opened up, a bunch of different threads that were beginning to unravel here, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens in the previous weeks. If you want to hear more about this topic, about this chapter, check out the Discord link where we talk about One Punch Man all the time, and especially this chapter. Everybody has dropped content for this week, I believe, so if you want to get more in-depth opinions from individuals, check out the channels, which will be linked in the description below. Anything you guys want to say before we head up?
No.
All right. So that was it, boys. The first official live stream for the One Punch Man podcast. Like the video to let us know that you liked it. We'll do this again if we can get enough reception. Comment below to literally tell us that you liked it, that you want to do us more, that you want us to do it more, and tell us what you thought about the chapter. Who was your favorite character?